Foil Drive versus FLITelab. Which foil assist product is going to be best for you? I'm Cole from MACkite, and I've had the opportunity to ride both the Foil Drive products and the FLITelab products. Now, in this video, we want to break down which one's better. We're going to go through winging, prone foiling, downwinding, and just the overall fit and finish of the product to see what's best for you. Now, if we just look at the basics between Foil Drive and FLITelab, Foil Drive has a propeller that is going to be on the mast, roughly halfway down, all the way down to the fuselage, or you can ride the propeller higher up on the mast. Where the FLITelab foil assist is actually going to be a motor that is inside the board, meaning that there is nothing on your mast of your foil. So let's talk about winging. So for winging, FLITelab seems to be the clear winner because you don't have to worry about holding a controller in your hand. Since the control module is on the front of the board with your FLITelab board, you can hit the button, there's a delay, and you can get up and ride and focus on the wing. Where with Foil Drive, you're gonna have to hold the controller in your hand while you're winging, which can be a little bit tricky. Now I know Foil Drive is working on some stuff to make that easier, but for now, FLITelab is the clear winner for winging. Now, let's look at prone foiling. With prone foiling, both of these products are gonna help you with paddle assist, so you're gonna feel like Superman paddling out into the lineup with both Foil Drive and FLITeLab. Getting into the waves, both Foil Drive and FLITeLab are gonna help you get into the wave. Now, the key difference between which one's better, well, prone foiling is gonna come when you're up on the wave. So when you're riding FLITeLab, since the jet is in the board, once you're up and riding, your board's out of the water. So the FLITeLab product isn't gonna help you once you're up and riding. Where with Foil Drive, you're gonna have that motor on the mast, so if you do feel like you're in front of the wave, or just losing speed in general, you can put that propeller back in the water, hit the trigger, and keep riding. The only downside that comes with having that ability to just hit the trigger and start riding again is you actually lose some of your mast. So when you're up and riding, well, prone foiling on FLITeLab, you have the entire mast to work with. So with Foil Drive, sometimes when you pump and you dip your motor into the water, it's gonna cause some drag. With FLITeLab, you don't have to worry about that because again, the motor's in the board. So if you're looking for more of a raw feel, you're gonna wanna have the FLITeLab. If you're gonna want something that's a little bit easier, more beginner friendly, you're gonna want to have the Foil Drive. When you're pumping out the back, trying to link up waves with the FLITeLab, it's all you. You're gonna be pumping, and again, you don't have any motor on your mast, so it's gonna feel like normal for pumping. They did a great job keeping it nice and balanced, but it's gonna be on you to get out to the next wave. Where with Foil Drive, again, put the motor in the water, hit the trigger, and you're out to the next wave, which definitely makes it easier. Let's talk about downwinding. So with downwinding, it's kind of a toss-up here, because with FLITeLab, you have the entire mast to work with, so you can lay down turns, you can pump as you please, but you can't just put the motor back in the water and start moving like you can with Foil Drive. So while you might have better performance hopping from wave to wave on the FLITeLab, on the Foil Drive, again, there's more room for error because you can throw the motor back in the water and keep on riding. The other main difference I see with downwinding between the two is with FLITeLab, you can use that paddle assist to get out into the lineup, so you can get away from the beach, and that's great. But with the Foil Drive, you're actually gonna be able to ride on foil into the waves, get yourself upwind, so then you can ride back downwind. Where with FLITeLab, again, the motor's in the board, so you're not actually gonna be able to e-foil upwind to train for downwinding. And then let's talk about e-foiling capabilities. Foil Drive, you could get a longer cord, and you can ride your foil setup just like an e-foil, as long as your board is long enough to get on plane and flat water and all that. Where with FLITeLab, since you have the jet inside the board itself, you can't e-foil because your board is gonna be out of the water, which means your jet's gonna be out of the water. Okay, let's look at the battery life between these two. Battery life, they both have great batteries. Both setups that I've ridden, there really hasn't been a session where I was sad to end the session early because the battery died. So I wouldn't worry about that. Both of the battery lives are great. One thing to note about the batteries themselves is both products have a travel safe battery. So that means that you can have your Foil Drive or your FLITeLab, and they come with batteries that click together to make one big battery that you're actually gonna use for your sessions. but having those 2 batteries allows you to travel across the world with it. You can fly on the airlines with no problem. The last thing I want to talk about is the actual fit and finish of the product. So with Foil Drive versus FLITelab, Foil Drive, the setup is definitely more intensive. There's a lot more screws, there's a lot more parts and pieces, so you really want to make sure you focus on those instructions when you're putting it all together. And then with the FLITelab, there are fewer parts and pieces. It's a lot easier to put it all together. And it just seems like a more finished product. Foil Drive is great, but I think FLITeLab is just a little bit more fine-tuned. They did a really fantastic job and probably over-engineered a little bit, but the final product turned out great. So if you are just getting into foiling, or you're an intermediate rider and you don't really care a whole lot about having the super, super high-end performance and you just want time on foil, go with Foil Drive. Foil Drive is going to keep you up on foil longer because, again, your motor is on your mast, so if you have an issue, you can just sink your mast down, hit the trigger, and you have power where you're gonna stay up on foil. Especially for prone and downwind, again, Foil Drive is gonna be a winner if you're a beginner intermediate rider. Now, if you're an advanced rider in prone foiling or winging, and you want a really, really fine-tuned feel to your foil, you don't want to lose any performance with pumping or turning, and you just want a little extra kick to get up on foil, FLITeLab's going to be the product for you. Now with winging's a tricky one because both products are a little hard to wing with, but I'd say FLITeLab is the clear winner, just because with the Foil Drive, again, you have to have that controller in your hand, which is a little tricky on the wing, especially if you're not super familiar with the wing. So for winging, I would go with FLITeLab. But if you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out to us in the links in our description. And if you have an opinion on what's better, FLITeLab or Foil Drive, feel free to drop that in the comment section below. But until next time, this has been Cole from MACkite, and we hope you guys find one that's right for you.